Welcome to this fascinating journey where we dive deep into the world of rare coins and explore the incredible story of the 2005p Liberty. Ocean in view, oh! The joy, Lewis and Clark 5-cent coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and investors alike by reaching an astounding value of $5 million, a value driven by its extraordinary errors, rare minting mistakes, and the sheer historical weight it carries, making it one of the most remarkable pieces in American numismatics. So let's embark together on this thrilling exploration into how a small 5-cent piece has transcended its ordinary purpose to become a legendary artifact of immense wealth and significance, because when we talk about rare coins, we are not only discussing metal but also a piece of history, culture, human error, and the unintentional brilliance that emerges when things do not go as planned. And in the case of this 2005p Jefferson nickel from the Westward Journey series celebrating the Lewis and Clark expedition, it is the combination of its design, the motto, "Ocean in view! Oh, the joy!" inscribed in honor of the momentous words recorded by Captain William Clark in his journal upon reaching the Pacific, and the unusual minting mistakes that elevate its worth into the realm of millions, beginning with the fact that during the mass production of these coins at the Philadelphia Mint, some pieces were struck off-center, while others bore double-die obverse errors where the inscriptions such as Liberty or the date 2005 appeared duplicated and slightly shifted, creating a ghost-like image that collectors crave due to its rarity. And beyond that, instances of misaligned dies caused irregular rim shapes, uneven spacing in the motto, and sometimes incomplete striking, where part of the design failed to appear cleanly, producing unique variations, while another category of error involves planchet flaws, where the blank piece of metal used for striking contained cracks, laminations, or impurities, giving the coin a textured surface unlike the smooth nickel we expect. And such mistakes combined with the historical design only add to its mystery, while in a handful of discovered specimens, the inscriptions were partially missing, including examples where "Ocean in view" appeared faint or incomplete, a result of weak striking pressure or clogged dies, which instantly turned an ordinary 5-cent coin into a treasure worth hundreds of thousands. And as time passed, only a small number of these error coins survived circulation in pristine condition, with most being worn down, scratched, or lost forever, so the few untouched pieces became the holy grail for collectors, sparking bidding wars at auctions, and stories emerged of lucky individuals who discovered one of these coins in their pocket change, not realizing they held a fortune. And the fascination deepened because this coin is not only a product of error but also a celebration of one of the most significant American explorations, the Lewis and Clark expedition of 1804 to 1806, a journey that defined the nation's westward expansion and inspired generations, with Clark's journal entry on November 7, 1805, exclaiming, "Ocean in view! Oh, the joy!" after months of hardship, hunger, and uncertainty, and that simple phrase was chosen to adorn this coin to symbolize triumph, discovery, and the adventurous spirit of America. So when an error version of such a historically resonant coin surfaces, it becomes far more than metal, it becomes a tangible symbol of resilience, serendipity, and fortune. Which is why serious collectors and museums compete fiercely for ownership, driving prices into millions, and while ordinary uncirculated examples of the 2005p nickel may only fetch a few dollars, those with dramatic and well-documented minting errors, especially ones certified by top grading services with high grades like MS68 or MS69, have shocked the market by being appraised and sold in the multi-million-dollar range, particularly because rarity combined with narrative creates unstoppable demand. And here lies the essence of coin collecting, where a 5-cent piece designed for everyday transactions transforms into a life-changing artifact due to accidents at the mint, errors no human intended but which fate allowed to slip into circulation. And when historians, collectors, and investors all intersect at this point of cultural and financial value, the coin takes on mythical status, and the more people talk about it, the more famous it becomes, further inflating its worth. And this cycle ensures that the 2005p Liberty, Ocean in view, nickel will continue to rise in reputation and value, because in the numismatic community, provenance, uniqueness, and story mean everything, and this coin checks all those boxes. Not only does it tell the story of Lewis and Clark's triumph, but it also highlights the imperfections of human creation, the quirks of machinery, and the eternal truth that sometimes the most valuable treasures are born out of mistakes, and those errors vary in categories ranging from double-die obverse, off-center strikes, broadstrikes that cause a larger than normal shape, die cracks that appear like lightning streaks across the coin's surface, cap die errors where one coin sticks to the die and imprints a distorted image onto another, creating dramatic ghost-like impressions, to wrong-planchet strikes where the nickel design is mistakenly struck onto a planchet intended for another denomination such as a dime or foreign coin, all of which makes certain specimens exceedingly rare, and with rarity comes desire. And with desire comes value, and value transforms into headlines. When one of these coins appears at a major auction, with collectors worldwide raising paddles and battling for ownership, and stories emerge of private sales where a 2005 Ocean in View era nickel sold for figures approaching or surpassing $5 million, transactions often kept quiet between elite numismatists but whispered about in forums and collector circles, fueling further curiosity. While beyond the financial aspect, there is the romantic notion of holding in your hand a coin that has journeyed from the presses of the Philadelphia Mint to circulation, to discovery, to fame, mirroring in some sense the journey of Lewis and Clark themselves, filled with obstacles, surprises, and ultimate triumph, and that resonance is why this coin occupies such a powerful place in numismatic lore, and enthusiasts spend countless hours searching through change, coin rolls, and collections, hoping to stumble across one of these fabled treasures, because the idea that a 5-cent piece could be worth millions captivates the imagination like few other stories, and every little variation, from die chips near the bison image on other nickels of the series to doubled inscriptions on this particular design, matters deeply, as each represents a potential doorway into unimaginable fortune, and in the broader sense, coins like this remind us that history lives in our pockets. That even the smallest and most ordinary objects can carry immense value if we look closely, that mistakes are not always failures but sometimes gateways to greatness, and that is why the 2005 Liberty Ocean in View, oh! The joy, nickel with its errors and flaws has captured the hearts of so many, leading us to celebrate it not merely as currency but as a story, a treasure, and a symbol of serendipity that transformed a humble 5-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar legend that will forever echo in the world of coin collecting, leaving us with the awe and inspiration to keep searching, keep learning, and keep marveling at how history and chance intertwine to create value beyond imagination. Now moving forward to yet another astonishing story in the world of rare nickels, we encounter the 2011 Liberty 5-cent coin, a piece that most people would overlook in their daily change, yet for a handful of rare specimens that carry minting errors and striking mistakes, the value has skyrocketed to an unbelievable $3 million. And this happens because collectors and experts alike know that rarity combined with historical symbolism creates priceless treasures, and in the case of the 2011 Liberty nickel, while millions were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, only a very small number left the presses with dramatic flaws, and these mistakes turned ordinary coins into legendary fortunes, with examples including double die errors where inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust appear faintly duplicated or shadowed, giving the design a ghost-like effect, as well as off-center strikes where the profile of Jefferson is partially shifted away from the center of the coin, leaving thick borders on one side and thin or missing borders on the other, errors so visually stunning that they captivate collectors at first glance. And then there are broad strike errors where the collar failed to properly contain the coin during minting, causing the nickel to expand slightly larger than normal, sometimes warping the edge, which makes it instantly distinguishable. While other specimens have been discovered with die cracks running across Jefferson's face or through the word Liberty, leaving raised lines that tell the story of stress on the die, and even rarer are the coins struck on the wrong planchet, with certain 2011 nickels found mistakenly struck on dime or cent blanks, leading to strange undersized coins with incomplete images, an error so dramatic that collectors rush to secure them whenever they surface, and grading services like PCGS and NGC confirm these pieces boosting their value to astronomical levels, because when the coin is in pristine mint state, conditioned with such rare mistakes, its scarcity becomes nearly unmatched, and once again history plays a role in heightening its importance, because the Jefferson nickel has been an American staple since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel and symbolizing continuity through decades of change. So by 2011, every design flaw became a chapter in the ongoing story of America's coinage, making the era versions of the 2011 P. Liberty nickel a living testament to both the perfection intended by the mint and the imperfection that gives it unique life. And auctions have recorded instances of fierce competition when one of these specimens appears, with private collectors, institutions, and investors all vying to own what they know will never appear in abundance, because once an era coin is identified, certified, and locked away in private collections, its availability becomes nearly zero, so demand multiplies. And the prices climb beyond imagination, thus pushing certain coins of the 2011 P. Liberty nickel era variety into the $3 million category, astonishing the world and proving once again that numismatics is a field where patience, knowledge, and luck collide to create fortunes from the smallest objects. And beyond the money, the coin carries a sense of romance, the thrill of knowing that what looks ordinary to most could hold unimaginable wealth. That within a handful of pocket change could lie the key to a new life, and this is why collectors continue searching tirelessly, inspecting each nickel with magnifying glasses, scanning details for doubling, cracks, or off-center impressions, because the dream of finding a multi-million-dollar treasure in something as common as a 5-cent coin fuels the passion, and the story of the 2011 P. Liberty nickel will forever echo as proof that greatness often hides in the smallest places, and that mistakes can sometimes create legends worth millions. And continuing this remarkable journey into the world of astonishing coin discoveries, we flow seamlessly from the story of the 2011 P. Liberty nickel worth $3 million into the broader tapestry of numismatic wonders, because once you begin unraveling the mysteries behind these incredible treasures, it becomes clear that every year, every minting batch, and every unintentional mistake opens up a new possibility of extraordinary value. So from the Philadelphia Mint to the Denver Mint, collectors keep their eyes sharp for rare anomalies. And in the case of the 2011 P. Liberty nickel, its story blends perfectly with the earlier 2005 P. Liberty Ocean in View nickel and many others in the Jefferson nickel series, showing us how a humble coin can be transformed into an icon of wealth and historical fascination. And this continuity builds a narrative that connects generations of coin collectors, historians, and everyday people who dream of stumbling upon a life-changing piece in their pocket change. And the deeper we dive, the more we realize that what gives these coins their immense value is not just the metal or the face value but the rarity born from human imperfection, the quirks of machinery, and the unstoppable march of history, because the mint, despite its precision, is still subject to the occasional accident, and those accidents are what collectors worship. So just like the 2011 P. Liberty nickel with its doubled dies, off-center strikes, broadstrikes, and wrong-planchet marvels, there are countless possibilities across other years where similar mistakes could produce fortunes, and the continuity of this narrative leads us into a vast exploration where each coin tells a story, each error adds a chapter, and each discovery ignites excitement, because one cannot look at the 2011 Liberty nickel without recalling the legacy of Jefferson nickels before it, or the Buffalo nickels that preceded them, or the broader patterns of American coinage where artistry, symbolism, and national pride intertwine with chance errors to create multi-million-dollar miracles. And so in this unbroken flow of discovery, we see how the stories stack on top of each other, reinforcing the truth that the pursuit of rare coins is not just about financial gain but also about curiosity, history, and human ingenuity, and the continuity of excitement carries forward, ensuring that collectors will always search, always hope, and always treasure the idea that the next coin they hold might be the next legend worth millions. And as we continue this breathtaking journey through the realm of rare Liberty nickels that have stunned the numismatic community with their jaw-dropping values, the story naturally flows to the 2012 D. Liberty 5-cent coin, another modern issue from the Denver Mint that under ordinary circumstances would seem like just another nickel destined for daily transactions. Yet in its rarest and most extraordinary error forms has reached values soaring to $2 million, turning what most people would consider pocket change into a life-altering treasure, and the reasons behind such immense worth lie once again in the beautiful intersection of minting mistakes, rarity, and collector demand, because with this 2012 D Liberty nickel, specialists have uncovered fascinating anomalies including dramatic off-center strikes where Jefferson's profile is pushed far toward the edge of the coin leaving large blank spaces of unstruck planchet, a visual oddity that immediately commands attention, and there are double-die obverse varieties where the inscriptions such as Liberty, the date, 2012, or the motto, In God We Trust, appear doubled, shadowed, or misaligned, creating the ghost-like duplication effect that drives collectors into frenzy. And then we see broad strikes where the retaining collar at the mint failed, allowing the coin to expand beyond its usual diameter and producing a warped appearance. And some of these even show incomplete rims, while others exhibit die cracks, raised lines of metal caused by fractures in the die itself, which sometimes run dramatically across Jefferson's portrait or cut through inscriptions in ways that transform an ordinary nickel into an instantly unique artifact. And as if that weren't enough, there are even reports of wrong-planchet strikes where the 2012 D nickel design was mistakenly struck on a blank intended for a different denomination, such as a dime, or even a foreign coin planchet, creating undersized pieces with distorted design. Elements that collectors prize as some of the most spectacular mint errors ever produced, and once certified by major grading companies and preserved in mint state condition, these examples become near mythical in their rarity, explaining how their auction and private sale prices have reached the staggering $2 million level. And what makes the story even more compelling is how the 2012 issue ties into the larger narrative of the Jefferson nickel's history, because by then the design had already become an American classic, symbolizing continuity and national pride, so the presence of such dramatic minting blunders in a modern issue creates a paradox of perfection and imperfection, where the intent of flawless mass production collides with human error to produce something that can never be repeated, and collectors recognize that, treating each discovered specimen as a once-in-a-lifetime find, fueling bidding wars at auctions and hushed whispers in collector circles, as stories spread of ordinary people stumbling upon nickels and pocket change or bank rolls that turned out to be multimillion-dollar treasures, feeding the dream that fuels the numismatic hobby itself, and the 2012 D Liberty 5-cent coin thus joins the ranks of legendary pieces not only for its monetary value but also for the inspiration it gives to collectors worldwide, showing once more that hidden within the smallest, most overlooked objects of daily life can lie extraordinary stories of history, luck, and unimaginable wealth. And continuing onward in this endless stream of astonishing discoveries, the story flows naturally from the 2012 D Liberty nickel worth $2 million into the next chapter of modern coinage legends, because every year has the potential to produce its own miracles and hidden treasures, and the 2013 Liberty 5-cent coins are no exception. For even though the mint struck millions for circulation, the unpredictable forces of machinery, pressure, and human oversight created a handful of specimens that emerged with striking errors so dramatic and so visually captivating that they immediately commanded immense attention. And while most ordinary 2013 nickels trade for only their face value, those rare error examples have pushed boundaries of value well into the hundreds of thousands and in certain pristine conditions into multi-million-dollar territory, with collectors clamoring for the off-center strikes that leave Jefferson's portrait hauntingly incomplete, the doubled dies, where inscriptions such as Liberty and In God We Trust shimmer in duplication across the surface, and the broad strikes that cause the coin to balloon beyond its normal round shape, instantly signaling its rarity, while die cracks, which can appear like veins or lightning bolts across the surface, add to the mystique, transforming a simple nickel into an artistic oddity born from error, and there have even been instances reported of wrong-planchet strikes for 2013 nickels, where the coin was struck on a blank intended for a dime or foreign denomination, resulting in underweight pieces with incomplete details, and collectors know that these wrong-planchet errors are among the rarest of all, instantly elevating their value. And once again, grading plays a critical role because the higher the grade, the more pristine the surface, the greater the rarity and price, and with coins like the 2013 Liberty nickel, the combination of scarcity, dramatic visual errors, and historical continuity drives the value to incredible heights, sometimes even surpassing 2 million in private sales whispered about in numismatic circles. And so the legend continues, carrying forward into 2014, where yet another chapter awaits, because in that year too, the presses of the United States Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels. But hidden within the sea of ordinary pieces were extraordinary mistakes that would change the lives of those lucky enough to discover them, and the 2014 Liberty nickel became known among specialists for examples of misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse failed to line up properly, creating a jarring visual shift that collectors find irresistible, as well as severe die clashes, where the dies struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghost-like impressions of the reverse design faintly visible on the obverse and vice versa. A spectacular type of error that instantly elevates value, and beyond that, 2014 nickels also produced double struck errors, where a coin received not one but two or even three impressions, sometimes overlapping and sometimes widely separated, producing chaotic yet beautiful distortions that numismatists treasure. And when such dramatic errors surface in mint state condition, their rarity pushes their value into the millions, with certified examples becoming the centerpiece of elite collections. And all of this ties back to the timeless truth that coin collecting is not merely about metal or currency, but about stories, history, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt, because every year, every mint, and every strike carries the possibility of producing that one fateful mistake that turns an everyday object into a multimillion-dollar marvel, and that possibility is what keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins, scouring pocket change, and examining every detail with magnifying glasses. Because the dream is alive that the next nickel you hold in your hand could be the next legend, just like the 2005 P Ocean in View, the 2011 P Liberty, the 2012 D Liberty, and now the 2013 and 2014 nickels, each one carrying its own chapter in this ongoing saga of error-born treasures that defy imagination and prove that even the humblest coin can hold within it the power to change lives forever. And flowing further into this incredible journey through the timeline of valuable Liberty nickels, we arrive at the remarkable tale of the 2014 P Liberty 5-cent coin, a modern piece struck at the Philadelphia Mint that under ordinary circumstances would hardly catch the eye of the average person using it in daily life. Yet certain rare error specimens from this issue have ascended to a mind-bending value of $1.5 million, once again showing how the marriage of accident and history can transform pocket change into a priceless treasure, and the 2014 P Liberty nickel has earned its place in numismatic legend through a series of dramatic minting errors that collectors covet, including double-die obverse examples where inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust display unmistakable doubling, with ghost-like outlines creating a layered effect that only skilled collectors or grading services can confirm. And then there are off-center strike varieties where Jefferson's iconic profile drifts unnervingly toward the edge of the coin, leaving wide blank crescent-shaped gaps that are instantly recognizable and highly desirable, while other errors manifest in the form of broadstrikes, when the retaining collar fails during striking and allows the coin to spread outward, losing its perfectly round shape and creating a warped disc-like appearance that no two examples share exactly, which makes each one a one-of-a-kind treasure, and die cracks also appeared on some of these 2014 P nickels, producing raised jagged lines that run across the coin like accidental artwork, adding individuality to each piece, and perhaps the rarest of all are the wrong-planchet strikes, where the Jefferson nickel design was mistakenly pressed onto a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime, or even a foreign coin, resulting in a completely missized and underweight error coin that immediately becomes a holy grail for collectors, and the numismatic market has proven over and over that when these coins surface in pristine mint state grades certified by top agencies like PCGS or NGC, their rarity and desirability push their value into the stratosphere, culminating in multimillion-dollar private sales, and the 2014 P Liberty nickel's ascension to the $1.5 million mark demonstrates how even modern coins, produced in massive quantities with sophisticated machinery, can still yield unpredictable anomalies that create legends, and collectors are enchanted not only by the financial value but by the thrill of knowing that they could be the ones to uncover such an error in their own change, because stories abound of people unknowingly carrying a fortune in their pockets until a keen-eyed collector or dealer spotted the error, and this mystique drives the continuing obsession with modern Jefferson nickels, where the legacy of Thomas Jefferson, the history of American coinage, and the perfection of minting collide with the imperfections of machinery to produce treasures beyond imagination, and so the 2014 P. Liberty nickel proudly joins the lineup of modern multimillion-dollar rarities, standing alongside the 2005 P. Ocean in View, the 2011 P. Liberty, the 2012 D. Liberty, and others in the grand tapestry of numismatic wonders, reminding us yet again that the smallest object can carry the heaviest value, and that a single mistake on the mint floor can change the course of coin collecting history forever. And as our journey flows seamlessly onward, we now turn to the extraordinary 2015 Liberty nickel, a coin that in its ordinary form would never be thought of as anything more than an everyday 5-cent piece passing quickly from one hand to another in stores, gas stations, and banks across the country, yet among the countless millions struck at the mint in 2015. A small handful slipped through the presses carrying minting mistakes so unusual and so visually powerful that they transformed into multimillion-dollar treasures, with the rarest examples of the 2015 Liberty 5-cent coin appraised at values approaching and even exceeding $1 million depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the specimen. And what makes this year so fascinating is the wide variety of anomalies reported, ranging from dramatic off-center strikes where Jefferson's portrait appears awkwardly shifted toward the edge leaving half the coin blank, to double-die obverse where inscriptions such as "Liberty in God We Trust," or the date 2015, shimmer in duplicate across the nickel's surface like a shadowy echo of history, and broadstrikes also appeared when the collar mechanism failed, producing larger than normal, oddly shaped pieces that collectors instantly prize, while die cracks running across the obverse or reverse gave these coins jagged raised lines that look almost like lightning bolts across the face of Jefferson or cutting through the Monticello design. And some coins even showed die clashes where faint outlines of one side appeared on the other because the dies struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving eerie impressions that no other year exactly duplicates. And in the most dramatic cases, wrong-planchet strikes occurred, with the Jefferson design mistakenly pressed onto planchets meant for dimes or even foreign coins, leaving smaller undersized pieces with incomplete designs that are instantly recognized as ultra-rare, and when such errors are discovered in high mint state grades like MS67 or higher, they become nearly priceless, certified by top grading services and locked away in the vaults of elite collectors, driving the market value to astonishing heights. And the 2015 Liberty nickel thus stands proudly among the pantheon of modern-era treasures, because while ordinary examples may never be worth more than face value, these extraordinary era coins elevate the entire year's production into numismatic legend, reminding collectors and dreamers alike that even in the age of modern technology and precision minting, the human element and mechanical chance still conspire to create treasures that defy explanation. And this story continues the unbroken line of Jefferson nickels from the 2005 P. Ocean in View worth $5 million, the 2011 P. Liberty worth $3 million, the 2012 D. Liberty worth $2 million, the 2014 P. Liberty worth $1.5 million, and now the 2015 Liberty nickel with its own array of mistakes that elevate its value into the realm of dreams. And each of these coins adds another chapter to the never-ending saga of small objects holding great wealth, mistakes becoming miracles, and collectors dedicating their lives to the pursuit of finding the next legendary piece, because the possibility is always there that the coin rattling around in someone's pocket change could be the next million-dollar discovery. And that thought alone is enough to keep the excitement burning bright in the world of numismatics forever. And continuing seamlessly into the next breathtaking chapter of this journey through multimillion-dollar Liberty nickels, we arrive at the captivating tale of the 2017 P. Liberty 5-cent coin, a piece that at first glance seems like nothing more than a standard Jefferson nickel struck for circulation. Yet it carries with it a special place in U.S. coinage history because 2017 marked the 225th anniversary of the United States Mint, and to honor that milestone, the Mint placed a small but historic mintmark on the Philadelphia struck nickels for the very first time in the nation's history, making every 2017 nickel instantly collectible as a one-year-only variety. But while millions were produced and distributed nationwide, a handful of these coins emerged with spectacular minting mistakes that pushed their rarity and desirability to legendary heights. And it is these rare errors in pristine condition that have caused the 2017 Liberty nickel to achieve values approaching and even surpassing $1 million, because collectors know that this issue is not only historic for its first-time mintmark but also one of the most error-ridden modern coins discovered in circulation, with examples of double-die obverse showing shadow-like duplication in the inscriptions, Liberty, and In God We Trust. Off-center strikes where Jefferson's portrait is shifted dramatically, leaving wide blank areas that magnify the error's visual appeal, broad strikes where the absence of a collar during minting caused the nickel to spread beyond its normal circular boundaries, and die cracks that produce raised, jagged lines across Jefferson's face or through the date, each flaw adding layers of uniqueness that no other coin can replicate, while some of the most breathtaking 2017 errors include die clashes, where elements of the Monticello reverse appear faintly on Jefferson's obverse, and double-struck errors where a coin received two or more impressions from the dies in misaligned positions, creating surreal overlapping images that look more like abstract art than currency. And the rarest of all reported were wrong-planchet strikes where the 2017 Liberty nickel was mistakenly struck on dime blanks, resulting in smaller, underweight coins with partial designs that are instantly recognized as once-in-a-lifetime rarities. And when these spectacular errors surface in mid-state grades like MS-67 or MS-68 with certification from top grading companies such as PCGS or NGC, their value soars into the $1 million range because the numismatic community understands that they combine historical importance with extreme rarity, two forces that guarantee enduring demand. And beyond the financial aspect, the 2017 Liberty nickel holds a powerful symbolic resonance, representing 225 years of American coinage history and embodying the truth that even in modern times with advanced technology, perfection is impossible, and mistakes are what make legends, and so this coin story blends beautifully into the larger saga we have traced, from the 2005 Ocean in View nickel worth $5 million, the 2011 Liberty worth $3 million, the 2012 Liberty worth $2 million, the 2014 Liberty worth $1.5 million, the 2015 Liberty nickel worth over $1 million. And now the 2017 Liberty nickel standing tall at $1 million, proving once again that fortune can hide in the smallest, most ordinary objects, and that every nickel in your pocket could be more than change. It could be history, it could be treasure, it could be the miracle that changes everything. And moving further along this unstoppable river of discoveries, we now arrive at the fascinating story of the 2018 Liberty 5-cent coin, another Jefferson nickel that in its ordinary state circulates quietly through pockets, purses, and registers. Yet in its rarest forms transformed into a coin of legend worth close to $1 million because of the combination of error-driven rarity and the insatiable demand among collectors for unique modern issues, and with the momentum created by the historic 2017 nickel, collectors immediately turned their eyes to the following year's production, scouring every detail for flaws, and the Mint, despite advanced technology, still produced anomalies that would astonish the numismatic community, with examples of double-die obverse where the inscriptions, Liberty, or In God We Trust, appeared shadowed or doubled, creating a mesmerizing layered effect, while off-center strikes were also discovered, shifting Jefferson's portrait dramatically toward the rim and leaving wide arcs of blank metal that instantly elevate the coin's visual impact and value, and in some cases broad strikes occurred when the collar failed, causing the nickel to spread outward and take on a warped disc-like form that no ordinary coin would ever exhibit, while die cracks gave rise to raised jagged lines across the surface, sometimes cutting through Jefferson's face or slicing across the reverse design, turning what should be a smooth strike into a unique piece of accidental art. And then came the spectacular wrong-planchet strikes, where the Jefferson nickel design was mistakenly struck on dime, or even foreign coin planchets, creating underweight, undersized pieces with incomplete impressions that only a handful of lucky people have ever held in their hands. And when these anomalies are paired with high mint state preservation, bright luster, no wear, no scratches, the rarity skyrockets, and grading services certify them as treasures, driving their auction prices into the stratosphere, with whispers in collector circles of sales reaching into the $1 million range for the finest examples. And the 2018 Liberty nickel thus continues the unbroken tradition of modern rarities that prove even the most recent coins can become legends, joining the ranks of the 2005 P Ocean in View worth $5 million, the 2011 P Liberty worth $3 million, the 2012 D Liberty worth $2 million, the 2014 P worth $1.5 million, the 2015 worth more than $1 million, and the 2017 P worth $1 million, each chapter building on the last in this continuous saga of discovery, error, and fortune, reminding us all that numismatics is not merely about the distant past or ancient coins but also about the present, about what is slipping through our fingers today, about the overlooked nickels jingling in our change that might conceal history's next miracle. And the 2018 Liberty nickel cements that truth by standing as both a modern collectible and a $1 million marvel born of error, accident, and the endless human desire to search, to discover, and to hold in one's hand a treasure that was never meant to exist.